Okay, welcome back to all of you guys. Perhaps you had a time to fill up the stomach and have some nice food and nice conversation and all of that good stuff. I'm going to now share with you guys Buddhist chanting. This is something that we do prior to meditating in order to ease our mind into meditation and get more benefit out of the meditation itself. And it also helps to bring your mind out of meditation too, because sometimes you're so deep in meditation, you kind of need something to bring your mind out of that. So chanting is really helpful for that. So first, I'm going to share with you guys the history of chanting and where it comes from. Then I'm going to share with you the benefits of chanting and how you benefit from it. Then we're going to actually do it. I'm going to teach you one by one the actual chants. So the origins of chanting, it starts at least with the Buddha, was going on before him, but during his lifetime, he used it as a learning tool, as a learning device, because everything he taught was oral. They didn't have the ability to write things down during his lifetime. The technology that existed in order to write things down didn't exist in that region of the world. It existed in China over 2,500 years ago, but it hadn't made its way to that part of the world yet. Now, you probably don't see writing something down as technology, but 2,500 years ago, this was technology to be able to write things down. And just like technology today, where it comes out kind of in waves, it's the same thing back then too. And it was even slower back then, where it kind of went through the world in kind of waves. So the Buddha spoke orally, and the language that he spoke didn't even have a written script because they didn't have any use for a written script. They didn't even create one because they had no way to actually write things down. So it wasn't until after his death that they actually documented his teachings. But by the time you get to enlightenment, you have such a deep, profound memory that you won't ever forget the teachings that it took for you to get to enlightenment. During his lifetime, there was countless people who got to enlightenment, but shortly after his death, about 500 of the enlightened beings came together and they wrote down his teachings, and they agreed that this was his actual teachings. But up until that point, they were using chanting or recitation of the teachings to be able to commit them to their memory. And that's how they actually were able to remember the teachings. In this tradition of teachings of the Theravada tradition, they will chant in the Pali language. This is kind of like a unifying language of chanting. So whether you're in Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, southern Vietnam, these are the focal points for this tradition. It's really been spread all throughout the world. No matter where you go in the Theravada tradition, they will be chanting in the Pali language. The pronunciation is a little bit different, but they all are chanting in the Pali language. So if you learn the chants that I'm going to teach you today, you could go to anywhere that is a Theravada Buddhist temple and you'll be able to chant right along with them, whether it's Sri Lanka or Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, or really anywhere in the world, because Theravada tradition has been propagated all throughout the world. Whereas if you learn the Mahayana tradition, which is mainly in China, they're chanting in Chinese. So you would need to first learn Chinese first and then actually be able to chant along with those people. Or the Vajrayana tradition, they're also chanting in a local language. If you are practicing the Mahayana tradition in Vietnam, they're going to be chanting in Vietnamese, where this Pali language that we chant in is kind of like a unifying language across all the different temples within the Theravada tradition. So I'm going to be teaching you the Theravada Pali chants, and I'm going to be chanting them in the way that I learned them. And because I learned them growing up kind of listening to the Thai people, the way that I chant them, people would probably say this is with a Thai dialect. Right? So when you chant, if you chant it alongside of someone from Sri Lanka, you guys will be able to chant together, but the dialect's going to be slightly different in the way that they pronounce the words, but it all sounds very similar and it all blends together. So you can see from the origins of chanting that it isn't a rite or ritual or ceremony or worship or prayer or anything like this, because during the lifetime of the Buddha, he didn't teach any of those things. Chanting was just as a way to commit the teachings to memory. And if you didn't chant during the lifetime of the Buddha, you wouldn't be able to get to enlightenment because you had to have a way to be able to remember the teachings so that then you could actually practice them. Where today we'll open up a book and we'll study, or we'll have an audio book, or there might be a video or a podcast or something like this that we use in order to be able to study the teachings. Where during his lifetime, it was reciting the teachings orally through chanting. So he would do this every 2 weeks. He would come together with his students and he would recite the teachings orally so that then they could actually remember them. So in terms of the benefits of chanting and the way that we use chanting today, I'll share with you guys how this is benefiting you by learning, because you actually don't have to learn chanting in order to be able to get to enlightenment today. If you didn't chant, you could still get to enlightenment, but it surely helps you. It will help you to ease into your meditation and get more benefit out of the meditation itself. Because when the Buddha talks about meditation, if you see his words, which I have over there in the book series, you can see his words about how he teaches meditation. And one of the things that he says repeatedly prior to meditating, to set up mindfulness in front of you. Mindfulness is awareness of mind. So you would like to set up awareness of mind before you start meditating. In other words, bring some awareness of mind to the mind before you start meditating. Don't just plop down into meditation. So chanting is a way to help you build that awareness of mind as you ease into meditation. So the Buddha teaches to set up mindfulness in front of you. Then this chanting is going to help you not only to develop awareness of mind, but concentration and memory too, because you're like exercising the mind, right? It's just like if you took the body to the gym and you exercise, you're going to have a stronger muscle, so that then when your friend's like, hey, can you help me move my sofa? You're like, sure, I can move the sofa, right? You can do that easily. But if you weren't exercising the body, you wouldn't be able to do that necessarily. So this chanting is a way to kind of exercise the mind a bit as you're moving into the meditation, and then you'll get more benefit out of the meditation itself. It not only helps you build awareness of mind, concentration, and memory, but you'll get this awareness of breath. Because in order to chant, you're going to need to have awareness of your breath. And those are the two things that you need easing into meditation: awareness of the mind and awareness of the breath. And now, right away from the very beginning of meditation, you can be experiencing improvement and benefit. Whereas if you didn't do these kinds of things and you just plop down into meditation, it might be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes before you start getting benefit. So this is a way for you to do a little bit of an exercise of the mind before meditating to get more benefit out of it. You'll notice that it slows, relaxes, and eases the mind into meditation, helping you to get more benefit. When I first started meditating, I could only meditate for about 1 minute. I couldn't really see too much benefit because it was really challenging for me. My mind was very polluted. It was very congested. But I noticed with my chanting that it was an audible indication that my practice was improving. So week by week, month by month, my chanting was improving, and it gave me some enthusiasm and some ambition to continue to learn and practice. Whereas if I didn't have that, I don't know what I might have done. So one of the benefits of chanting is you can see the audible improvement to your chanting. It can be motivating and encouraging for your practice. Another thing that it can do is it can help you to build respect and gratitude for Gautama Buddha and the elders. What I mean by this is, this individual, Gautama Buddha, he did a lot of work to be able to get to enlightenment by himself. You're going to have help from a teacher to be able to help you get to enlightenment. You're going to see it's challenging to get to enlightenment, but he did it all by himself. He persevered to be able to do that and get to enlightenment. And then he spent 45 years sharing those teachings with others, stepping away from the royal family. This individual had an enormous amount of loving kindness and compassion for all of us. That's the reason why he did this, right? And I have a deep amount of appreciation and respect for him. When you practice his teachings and you see the benefit that it has to your mind and your life, you might have that deep appreciation and gratitude as well. The chanting is a way to help you to be able to do that. And not just for the Buddha, but for what I refer to as the elders. What I mean by this is that ever since the lifetime of the Buddha, for 2,500 years, these teachings have been handed down from one person to the next, to the next, to the next. We're never going to know the names of all those people that preserved the teachings and passed them down from one person to the next. But if it wasn't for those people, you wouldn't be learning these teachings today. And when you see how beneficial they are for your life, you might actually also have a lot of appreciation and gratitude for them as well. So these chants that we chant, I'm sure that the Buddha didn't teach them. He probably didn't create them himself, because there's appreciation, gratitude, and respect in these chants that a Buddha wouldn't go around and say, here, chant these chants to me out of respect for me, because this would be the ego. But if you learn from a teacher how to move from the anger and sadness to this peaceful and joyful mind, and this teacher didn't want anything or expect anything from you, you'd probably have a lot of appreciation, gratitude, or respect for that person too. And the chanting can help you to develop that in your mind, where you have appreciation and respect for all these people in the past. An enlightened being is going to have appreciation, gratitude, and respect for everybody. And this can kind of help bubble it up in your mind, where now you can practice that with other people. So right now, you might not have respect for everybody in the world, but that's because your mind has these pollutions. When you get rid of this, you can actually have respect for everybody. So these chants can help you to bubble up that respect for Gautama Buddha and the elders, and now it can kind of spill over into this group of people today that you spend time with, and all the people in the world you can have gratitude and respect for. And then I'd like to share with you that these chants, they don't have anything mystical or magical. There's no benefit in terms of anything mystical or magical. Now, I'm sure that you'll find people occasionally that are going to tell you the opposite. You might go to a particular temple and they say, here, chant this chant. This is a special chant. It's only our temple that knows this. You're going to get an extra long life if you chant this chant. Or here, chant this chant. If you chant this chant, your boyfriend or your girlfriend's going to come back to you, right? Or chant this chant. If you chant this special chant, you're going to get rich and wealthy, right? Or chant this chant. You're going to get to enlightenment in 5 years if you chant this chant. This isn't actually true. You can see from the origins of chanting what it actually was used for. There's nothing mystical or magical here. And if it was something that was that powerful, that you could chant something and instantly get your boyfriend or girlfriend back, or instantly get wealthy, don't you think that would have spread like wildfire all through society by now? I mean, think about it. You go to a good restaurant and you have a good meal, nice tasting food. How many people do you tell? Probably 3, 4, 5, 10 different people, right? Well, if you learned a chant and it would make you wealthy instantaneously, that would have spread like wildfire. We've had 2,500 years for this to be able to spread through society. So this is people that are believing these things, but they actually haven't seen that it's true. Because like if you go to a temple and they say, here, chant this chant, you're going to get an extra long life. Well, don't believe them. But don't believe me either, that I'm telling you that it doesn't actually lead to that. Look around the temple. Do you see people who are 150, 200, 300 years old? If you see that, okay, there's some truth to it. But if you don't see that, then you know that that's not true, right? These are just things that people are believing. So there's nothing mystical or magical about these chants, but there's people in the world that will tell you that there are. Some people, they don't understand what the words mean. So sometimes in society, the least you know about something, the more mystical and magical it becomes, right? So that's why I put the English translations, so you can just see what it is that you're actually studying and what it is that you're chanting, that it's nothing mystical or magical. It's just helping you to build this, setting up mindfulness in front of you, developing mindfulness, concentration, and memory, helping you to develop awareness of breath, allowing you to slow, relax, and ease the mind into meditation. And it can also give you an indication that your practice is improving, and it can help you bubble up some respect in the mind towards the elders and Gautama Buddha himself. Okay, so any questions on the benefits of chanting? Anything you guys would like to ask? Remember, for those of you guys online, you can put that into Facebook, YouTube, or Zoom, or raise your hand in Zoom. Or for those of you here, you can use the microphone. No questions? Matthew, I think you're the question man of the class. They've anointed you as the question man. All right. So I'm going to teach you these chants then. If you guys would like to get one of the chanting sheets, you're more than welcome. It'll help you. I'm going to use this here, but I'm not going to always have this on here. So if you feel like you would like to have a chanting sheet, you're more than welcome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you 3 chants. These are the 3 chants that we use as part of easing into meditation and coming out of meditation. This first one is called the triple gem or the triple jewel. By the way, for anybody who's online, you can get this by going to buddhadailywisdom.com, click on free books, and then you can scroll down towards the bottom and you'll see the chanting sheet there. Okay, so this first chant is called the triple gem or the triple jewel. And the reason why is because you're basically paying respect to 3 things. And you need these 3 things in order to be able to get to enlightenment. Without these 3 things, you wouldn't actually be able to get to enlightenment. So if you go to an event, they're typically going to open it up with this here. So the ordained practitioners or who the teachers, whomever, they're typically going to start chanting this chant first. And what this is paying respect to the Buddha. That's this first one. Then you're paying respect to his teachings, and then you're paying respect to the community. Because if you have confidence in the Buddha, or actually, let me say it this way. If you don't have confidence in the Buddha, if you don't have confidence in the teachings or access to the teachings, and you aren't part of a community, you wouldn't be able to get to enlightenment. You're going to, over time, need to build confidence in the Buddha. You're going to need to have access to his teachings, and you're going to need to be part of a community. If you just had one or two of these things, you wouldn't actually be able to get to enlightenment. So if I had confidence in the Buddha, but I didn't have access to his teachings, and I wasn't part of a community, couldn't get to enlightenment, right? For you guys, that's what you guys would experience. Or if you had access to his teachings, but you didn't have confidence in the Buddha and you weren't part of a community, you wouldn't be able to get to enlightenment. Or if you were just part of a community and you didn't have confidence in the Buddha and you didn't have access to his teachings, you wouldn't be able to get to enlightenment. So as part of this community, you have access to his teachings. You are part of a community. And then over time, you'll be able to gain confidence in the Buddha as you see his teachings improving the condition of your mind in your life. So I'm going to teach you this one first, and then I'll teach you two more. The way that I'm going to teach you this is I'm going to do it 4 times. The first time, I'm going to do it by myself, just so you can hear it and you can look at it and start to understand it. The second time, I'm going to do it myself, and I'm going to show you where I'm breathing, so you'll know where I'm breathing. The third time, we'll do it together, and I will guide you in where to breathe. And then the fourth time, no guidance, no nothing. We'll just do it through all of us together. Okay? So here's how it goes. Here's the first one. Here's how it sounds. Okay? Arahang Samma Sambuddho Mahakeva Putang Mahakavanang Apivateyami Savakato Mahakavata Tammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipano Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami. Okay, so that's the first one. That's how it sounds. And what you notice is at the end of each one of these phrases, I lifted up my hands and I bowed. If you'd like to do that, you can. It's up to you. It's your practice. What you're going to find is if you're in a large group of people, when they're chanting this, they will typically bow to the floor. And there's usually a Buddha statue in the front, or there's monks in the front, and they will bow to this person or to the statues in the front. Whether you choose to do that or not, it's a choice for you to make. You don't have to do that, but if you'd like to, you can. It's totally up to you. Or if you'd like to bow, with your hands, you can do it that way. Or you can just choose not to do it at all. It's your practice, and you make the choice for yourself, but you'll see people that are doing that, and you'll understand why. Is essentially what they're doing is they're showing respect to the Buddha, and is training their mind to eliminate conceit, that arrogance and pride and putting themselves above people. They're humbling the mind by doing that. Okay. So now I'm going to do it the second time, and I'm going to show you where I'm breathing. Not that you have to breathe at these same places, but if you're interested in knowing where a natural breath is, I'm going to show you where I'm actually breathing. So at the very beginning, I take a nice deep breath, and then I chant. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava. And then here I'm going to breathe. Putang Mahakavanang Apivateyami. And now as I'm bowing, I'm taking a nice deep breath. Savakato Bhagavata Tammo. Breathing here. Dhammang Namasami. And then as I'm bowing, I'm taking a nice deep breath. Supatipano Bhagavato. Breath. Savaka Sangho. Breath. Sanghang namami. And then I'm going to bow here. And I'm going to take a nice deep breath to lead into the next chant. Okay? So that's the second time through. Now we'll do it a third time where you guys can join in, and I will show you where to actually breathe and kind of guide you in the breath. Whether you choose to breathe there or not, up to you, but at least you'll know where there's a natural place to be able to breathe. Okay? So I'll show you guys this. Again, you don't have to do it this way, but if you're interested, you can. Some people like to hold the chanting sheet like this in their hands when they're learning, or some people like to put it on the floor, or some people put it on their leg. You can put it wherever you like, but some people like to do it like this. So if you'd like to do that, you can. Okay? All right, so here we go, the third time through, and I'll guide you in the chant. Take a nice deep breath. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Mahakava. Breath. Putang Mahakavanang Apivateyami. Breath. Savakato Bhagavata Tammo. Breath. Dhammang Namasami. Bow with the breath if you're going to bow there. Supatipano Bhagavato. Breath. Savaka Sangho. Breath. Sanghang namami. Okay. All right. So that's the third time. But now we'll do it a fourth time where I'm not going to guide you. We'll just all try to harmonize together. Okay. This is where you pretend like you're on one of those singing shows, like The Voice, or I don't know what they call in China or what have you, or American Idol or whatever it is, Brazilian Idol, right? Thai Idol. I don't know if they have Thai Idol. I know they have The Voice in Thailand, but I don't know about if they have Thai Idol or not. So pretend like you're auditioning for a singing show, right? Just let it rip, right? Don't hold back. Don't allow your personal existence view to cause shyness in your mind, right? Because that personal existence view will cause shyness in your mind. No shyness. Just let it rip. You're among family, okay? No breathing, or I'm sorry, no guidance about the breathing. Of course you can breathe. All right, here we go. You ready? Arahang Samma Sambuddho Mahakava. Putang Mahakavanang Apivateyami. Savakato Bhagavata Tammo. Dhammang Namasami. Supatipano Bhagavato. Savaka Sangho. Sanghang namami. All right, that's sounding good. Good job. Yay. All right. When I start hearing you guys over the microphone, that's when I know that you're chanting. You can hear you. Good job. Any questions on this one? No questions? Okay. Now let's move to the next one. A lot of people find this one to be easier because it's just one phrase repeated 3 times. If you're growing up in Thailand and you're a little baby, when you start saying a few sounds, they're going to teach you this right away. I've seen like 1.5, 2-year-old kids, as soon as they start mouthing, they're starting to learn this particular chant. So if you find it hard to learn all 3 chants at once, you might decide to learn this one first and then learn the first one and then learn the third one. That's the order that I learned them in, because I find this one to be a bit easier. But some people might say it's harder, right? Everybody has a different opinion. Not everyone's going to agree. So again, 4 times. Here's how it sounds. Namo Tassa Bhagavato สัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะ Okay, so this is how it sounds. Now I'm going to do it again and I'll show you where I'm breathing. Okay, so I would have taken a nice deep breath after that last chant. And now here I'm going to chant this. Na mô tassa bhagavato. Breath. Arahato samma sambuddhassa. Breath. Namo tassa bhagavato. Breath. Arahato samma sambuddhassa. Breath. Namo tassa bhagavato. Breath. Arahato samma sambuddhassa. Okay, so that's where the breaths are. And again, whether you breathe there or not, up to you. Maybe you can take a deep breath and go all the way through. So if you can, that's up to you. You could do that if you like. Okay, so now let's do it a third time where I'll guide you in the breath. Okay, so take a nice deep breath here at the beginning. Namo tassa bhagavato. Breath. Arahato samma sambuddhassa. Breath. Namo tassa bhagavato. Breath. Arahato samma sambuddhassa. Breath. Namo tassa bhagavato. Breath. Arahato samma sambuddhassa. Okay, so now a fourth time, no guidance. Okay, this is the voice. What tongue you voice? Okay, you guys ready? All right, here we go. Namo tassa bhagavato. Arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato. Arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato. Arahato samma sambuddhassa. Okay. You want to go again? Go ahead. Get a microphone. You can get a microphone. No? Okay. Other people can hear you online. All right. Any questions on this one? No questions? Okay. All right. So now we go to this one. I found this one to be challenging, but some people say it's easier, right? Again, everybody has different opinions. I call this the ETP so. Okay. So I'm going to do it 4 times here. I'm sure there's another way to refer to this, but I use it, the ETP so. That's how I refer to it. So here's how it sounds. Itipiso emahakawa. Arahang samma sambuddho. Vichacharanang sammuno. Sakato rokavitu. Anutero purisa. Dhamma sati sata tawa manu sarang poto bhagavati. Okay, so that's how it sounds. You guys might be hearing the breaths here on this one. I'll still give you the guidance. I'll show you where the breaths are, but you might actually be already starting to hear them. It's where those natural pauses are. Okay, so here's how it sounds, or here's the guidance. That you take that deep breath on the way in, and now, iti piso emahakawa. There's a little breath here. Arahang sama sammuto. There's a breath here. Vicha charanang sammuno. Breath. Sakato rokavitu. Breath. Anutero purisa. Breath. Dhamma sati sata tawa manu asarang. Breath. Poto bhagavati. Okay, so that's where the breaths are. So now we're going to do it together, and I'll give you guys some guidance, but I'm going to get a little bit of water here. And a little bit of water. Doing a lot of chanting. This is fun for you guys? Yeah? It's cool, right? Okay. Lots of chanting. Okay. So now I'll give you some guidance. We'll do it all together. Okay. So take a nice deep breath here. Iti piso emahakawa. Breath. Arahang sama sammuto. Breath. Vicha charanang sammuno. Breath. Sakato rokavitu. Breath. Anutero purisa. Breath. Dhamma sati sata tawa manu asarang. Breath. Poto bhagavati. So I usually do a closing bow there at the end, and I kind of drag it out. If you chant this with Thai people, oftentimes they will come to an abrupt ending. They will say, Poto bhagavati. They will just stop it right there. But I think it sounds better to drag it out. So that's why I drag it out. So from teacher to teacher, there's a little bit of differences. There's not just one right way to do it because of impermanence, right? Things are constantly changing. All right. So now we'll do it a fourth time. This is where no guidance, no nothing. Just we'll do it all on our own. Okay. So here we go. Iti piso emahakawa. Arahang sama sammuto. Vicha charanang sammuno. Sakato rokavitu. Anutero purisa. Dhamma sati sata tawa manu asarang. Poto bhagavati. All right. Good job. Clap it up. Yay. Any questions on this one? No questions? Young? Yeah.
Could you please repeat where all are through the whole
All the what? The falling sounds?
the bowing,
the bowing. Oh, okay. So the first chant, at the end of each phrase, I will usually bow. So Arahang, Sama Sambuddhasa, Sawakato, and then Supatipano. At the end of each one of those phrases, the very first one, that's where I usually bow. And then at the very end of this one, that's where I usually bow, at the very end, to finish it off.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
So besides the pronunciation, you have the tone, you have the up and down and the drag, you know. So is there any patterns or you just...
You learn it by ear.
Right.
When you're participating in events and you hear it repeatedly over and over, you'll learn it by ear. I used to put little markers above and below, but it just started confusing people. So I just let you now to kind of like pick it up as you hear it a lot. Mm-hmm.
Curious how you pronounce that little
Oh, you roll your tongue. It took me a long time to do that because American tongue doesn't do that. Thai have that. Yeah. Roti. Yeah. It's the tip. You blow air out of your mouth and your tongue goes like this. Arahato. Took me a long time to get that. Yeah. Yeah, you'll need to practice, just like everything else in life. You need to practice. Arahato. Okay, so here's what I suggest we do. I suggest we start at the beginning and we go all the way through. No guidance, no coaching, no nothing. You guys up for that? Yeah? Okay. You can do it. Okay. Here we go. You ready? No guidance. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Mahakava Potang Mahakavanang Apivateyami Savakato Mahakavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipano Mahakavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami Namo Arhasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Arhasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Arhasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Iti piso mahakava Arahang Samma Sambuddho Vichacharanang Sammuno Sakato Roka Vitu Anutero Purisa Dhamma Sati Satatawa Manusarang Poto Bhagavate. Okay, that sounded really nice. Very nice. You have more work to do, but it sounded nice. Okay. Any questions on any of these at all? No questions? Okay, let me check online, see if there's any questions online. Okay, questions online. I don't see any questions online. Okay, so here's what I suggest. I suggest we do all three chants and then do a meditation. You guys would like to meditate this afternoon? Yeah? I'd like to give it a try? Okay, anybody need a bathroom break? Need a little bathroom break? Anybody? No? Just got back from lunch. Okay. So what we'll do then is we'll do the chants on the way in, all three chants. Then I'll guide you in the meditation. Then there's going to be that period of time of quietness. Then we're going to come out of the meditation with the chanting. So when you come out, you can come out with the chanting if you like. Okay? So we'll do chanting on the way in and on the way out. All right. All right. Here we go. All right. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Mahakava Bhutang Mahakavanang Apivateyami Savakato Bhagavata Tammo Dhammang namasami Supatipano Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang namami Namo Rasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Rasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Rasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Iti piso Mahakava Arahang Samma Sambuddho Vicacaranang sammuno Sakato rokavitu Anutero purisa Dhamma sati satatawa manusarang Poto Bhagavati. Okay, with your lower body and hands and arms comfortable, and your upper body erect, just close the eyes and start breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Here you're just looking to establish the breath. A nice, natural, steady, consistent breath. Not forced or controlled, just a gradual inhale through the nose, experiencing the full breath. And then whenever you're ready, exhale out through the nose. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. Your breath may not match up with the guidance that I'm providing, and that's okay. This is your practice. I'm just here for guidance. You can use this voice as a reminder that whenever you get to the next inhale, breathing gradually through the nose, developing a nice, natural, steady, consistent breath. And then whenever you're ready, exhale out through the nose, experiencing the full breath. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. With the breath well established, start fixating the mind on the breath, either the sound of the breath coming into the nose or the sensation of air moving over the skin into the nose. The breath is the present moment. Fixate the mind on the breath, the present moment. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. With the mind fixated on the breath, whenever you notice that it moves off the breath, cut that off, let it go, and come back to the breath, the present moment. No need to observe the thought, label it, judge it, analyze it, or even try to figure out where it's coming from. Whenever you notice that the mind is moved off the breath, cut that off, let it go, and come back to the breath, the present moment. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. I'm going to be quiet now and let you do this work of focusing on the breath, cutting off and letting go anytime the mind moves off the breath. You have nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. No one needs you right now. This is your time to focus on the breath. Breathing in and out. The mic on. I thought the mic was on. All right. Welcome back to all of you guys online. Sorry, I didn't have the mic on when I was doing the ending chanting there. Apologize. All right. So any questions on chanting? No questions? Okay. So what we're going to do tomorrow is we're going to start at 9 a.m. I'm going to start with the chanting, and then we're going to do the meditation together. Then afterwards, I'm going to teach you the Eightfold Path. This is the core central teaching of the Buddha. We're going to spend the entire morning learning this teaching, where I'm going to be gradually walking you through this, showing you how to independently verify it. This is the way that you're actually going to get to enlightenment, through the Eightfold Path. By learning this teaching inside and out, you'll actually be able to make your way to enlightenment. Without this particular teaching, you wouldn't be able to get to enlightenment. Then after our lunch break, we're going to come back and I'm going to teach you all the ins and outs of meditation, because by that point, you'll have meditated 3 times. So you'll be able to be ready to learn what it is to be meditating and why we're meditating. You'll understand how it fits in to the central teachings of the Buddha. It's a perfect time to be able to teach you meditation at that point. So that's our plan for tomorrow. We should finish up right around 3 o'clock. Okay, so enjoy the rest of your evening, whatever you do. Have a lovely rest of your day, and perhaps I'll see you guys in our next class. Okay, be well. Jai Jian.